Welcome to the Dropping Gems After Show. On today's show, we will have Shana Martin, also known as Indigo. She's a singer, songwriter, and mental health advocate based out of Houston, Texas, with her original music likened to other independent artists such as Corrine, Bailey Ray, and Arie. Indigo uses her unique take on neo soul and indie music genres to help people experience life in a more connected, in depth way. So, we will be right back after this short break. You are watching a Dropping Gems after show.
Welcome to Dropping Gems, an academy for holistic studies. Learn how to treat seasonal allergies and year-long allergies naturally with Keisha Christian. Her courses have helped parents, teachers, naturalists, and therapists reassess the way they handle allergy symptoms. Registration to our class is now open. Reserve your spot today. You can also become a certified holistic studies practitioner with us. Be empowered with knowledge and help us in spreading the positivity with the rest of the world. Visit www.droppinggemsacademy.com or email us at info@keishachristian.com.
Venice Richards, your pure romance consultant, inspires women to enhance their intimate lives and take care of their sexual health. Book your party today. Visit pureromance.com/Venice Richards or call 631-943-1868 for more information or to place an order. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dropping Gems. So excited. Indigo, aka Shana Martin. Thank you so much for coming on my show today. This is an exciting show because I met Shana Martin actually on Instagram. She's giving her tips on Tuesdays. So definitely, I am just so excited. And her tips on Tuesday, I have to tell you, if you haven't seen it, you need to definitely check it out because it's such a great wealth of information. And she also entertains by playing high vibrational music. So I have to tell you, really check that out. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here and I'm ready to get into the conversation.
Yes, definitely. So since I brought up Tips on Tuesday, can you please tell the audience what exactly are Tips on Tuesday and why did you start it?
Okay, so Tips on Tuesdays is a weekly segment that, like you said, I do on Instagram Live for now. It's a segment where I share tips, habits, and perspective changes for other creative entrepreneurs like me to help them keep their mental health at peak level, as they can. The reason I created Tips on Tuesday is because I noticed when it came to supporting the mental health of people who are creators or in the creative field, there was a really big gap after suicide prevention. So everybody, is really focused on suicide prevention for obvious reasons, but you don't just get to that point. There's a lead up to that. And if you get out of that zone, there's something that happens after. And I always did wonder, what happens after we get out of suicide prevention? I didn't see a lot of resources for that. So that's why I decided to create that segment so that I could do my offering into that space about helping other creative people maintain the best mental health that they can. So.
Yes, thank you. So what exactly are you doing, I should say? Can you explain to the audience? Because I've experienced Tips on Tuesday, but I just want to know what exactly are you doing during that time? And what time does it come on? You could also tell the audience as well.
Absolutely. So I do Tips on Tuesdays almost every single Tuesday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And during those sessions, what I do is I started off with some music because I am a musician as well. And then we get into the topic at hand. So every week, usually we start with a different topic. Sometimes people suggest topics to meet and we talk about those. We discuss them as a group. Um, Sometimes I will also bring on other creators to talk about a specific subject that I think they have a great handle on, and to speak to everybody who joins into the Instagram Live. And we talk about topics that deal with mental health. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. And it's so important that we actually talk about mental health, and especially young people, people of color in our community, because it tends to be a taboo subject, you know?
Yeah.
So it's definitely bringing awareness to it and breaking that cycle.
That's probably one of the biggest reasons I have for doing it, because as you were saying, people of color and what you would consider minorities, we do have a history of being underserved in this area of mental health, and it's heavily stigmatized for us, which means that the symptoms that come along with some of the conditions centered under mental health can have a negative connotation to them. People see those things negatively and not always as something that just needs a little time and a little treatment. So, that's a big motivation also behind me doing that.
I love that. I love it. So can you tell the audience, do you have any upcoming music performances or projects coming about?
Oh, yes. Actually, one thing I really have coming up very quickly, which is this coming Sunday, is I'm going to be doing a live meaningful music session, which is one of the sessions I offer personally through my services. Meaningful music is a session where I work with one person or maybe a small group of people. We do some music relaxation exercises, some mental relaxation exercises, and then I go ahead and take some of the words and some of the themes they're incorporating into their life at the time, and I turn it into a custom song for that person or those group of people at that time. I sing that for them so they can get that in their subconscious, which is where change really starts to happen. So I've got that coming up this Sunday, coming up at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time on Instagram Live.
Oh, cool. So even if they can't see it live, they could always check it out after. You actually you actually go through that process of making the custom made music for their subconscious right there on the live?
That's exactly what I do. After we get through with music relaxation and maybe one or two mental relaxation exercises, some grounding or something like that. Yes, I actually ask the people who are participating with me to tell me what some of the phrases or some of the words or mantras they're trying to incorporate in their life. And I go ahead and structure that into a song right there on live for everybody who's watching.
Oh, that is so cool. I wonder what my mantra would sound like.
That's how to think about it. And you'll get plenty of inspiration from the other people there. Everybody around me, I'm proud to say, is looking to live a more positive life than the one they already have. So it's already pretty positive. They're looking to take it up. So you will get plenty of inspiration from the people who are there.
That's cool, because I do my affirmations and I meditate and all that as well. So I'm just wondering, because there's certain things that I say, phrases I say, and I do make a song to it. I'll be sitting here clapping. I'm getting ready in the morning. Looks a little crazy.
No, but it's a good thing. Music has a way of doing that for people, and that's why when we want small children to learn things, what do? We turn it into a song, because music, it has a way to get stuck in those grooves the way that just words by themselves can't do. So it's a great exercise. I love doing it with people.
Oh wow, I need to come to that.
This Sunday.
I'm coming to that. Calendar. That sounds interesting. So I know that you're also a mental health advocate. So can you tell us what was your experience with mental health and what it has been like for you?
Yes. So as we mentioned before, you brought up a little bit earlier, for people of color, it can be a little bit harder for us to be serviced or to have our symptoms recognized. So it wasn't until I got to be in college, really, that I really got a chance to sit down with a counselor or a therapist and understand some of the things I have been dealing with my entire life, which include, situational depression, an adjustment disorder, dealing with, anxiety, heavy anxiety. And, when I was younger, it was really a mystery to me. I would wonder why, us not having the thing I wanted for dinner would just send my whole day into a spiral. But it's just because the environment that I was in, while I did grow up in a loving family, I grew up in an inner city situation. I grew up in inner city Buffalo, New York. So it wasn't necessarily the safest place to be. And that, with a couple with some other things, just created an environment where I had a lot of anxiety and a lot of things to deal with on a regular basis. So coming up, mental health, my parents did the best they could, of course, but it wasn't something I was able to take care of. So I was glad that when I got a chance to finally start working with a counselor and a therapist, we were able to do things like identify my triggers and see what it is that sets me on the path where I end up in maybe a more depressed state, or in having a depressive episode. What it is that makes me anxious, or what thought processes end up where I'm having an anxiety attack or a panic attack, and really be able to deal with that.
Wow. So I'm just curious, did you go away to school, or were you a commuter student?
Against my wants, I went away to school. My parents were like, you have to go, because I was definitely a child that was like, I just want to stay here. I like my family and I don't want to be, around a bunch of strange people. My parents like, you have to go, get out into the world. So I think that probably had a lot to do with me seeking help as well, because I was on my own. So I didn't have that fallback I usually would have, that comfort I usually have. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to learn how to deal with this stuff that's going on. I'm gonna have to do it on my own, but not on my own. I'm gonna have to get some help from a place I normally wouldn't. So yeah, I was on campus, same state, but living in a different city.
Oh yeah, because when you were talking about adjustment, you had the term you mentioned.
Adjustment disorder.
Yeah, adjustment disorder. That's what made me wonder, did she go away to school? Because I could see that being a big adjustment for a young person. They're so used to being at home with their family, and then going to getting yourself into another situation, or you're in another environment where you don't know the people. Everyone is a stranger to you. You have no familiarity. So I'm like, oh wow, I could see that.
Well, I was gonna say, for me personally, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but for me personally, it was that definitely had a big key in it. And growing up, I did unfortunately have to deal with some sexual abuse when I was a child, and I also had a parent who had some undiagnosed mental conditions that we didn't understand when I was growing up. So along with all of those things, usually with an adjustment disorder, from what I've been told from professionals, is something that tends to be short term, unless you have a repeated high impact situation, in which case you're not able to recover. So that's how you end up having a harder time adjusting over a longer period of time. It's just a simple way to put it. So definitely going to school was probably did not help as far as that goes. But it did help in that I was able to finally recognize what was going on with me and get the help that I needed to get for that.
That's great. So I'm actually going away to school help you to take the steps you needed to help improve your mental health.
It really did. It's amazing how, you know how they always say, the what you want is outside your comfort zone. It was definitely true for me, because my comfort zone, I was able to just fall back and, just lay in the cut and deal with it that way. But when I got out of my comfort zone and it was really up to me to start taking charge of my life, I was like, okay, this isn't working, missing classes for, because I just don't feel like I can get out of the bed today and this and maybe, maybe that's not supposed to be, that doesn't have to be that way. Maybe it doesn't have to be that way. And so that's what really did drive me to go and, started off with a suggested counselor from a friend, but eventually I moved on to one of the other counselors that the school had available, and she turned out to be the right fit for me, and we were able to get a lot done together. So that was a good experience.
Cool. I really love that. And I love how you then took to your love of music and your talent as a singer-songwriter and incorporated that.
Oh yes, that's what I had to do. I'm so thankful for music. I'll be honest. And I come from a very artistic family. Everybody plays instruments, everybody sings. So music was definitely one of the things in my life that always had a happy memories associated with it. And it was a way for me to express myself. So when I started writing songs around the age of maybe like 10 or 11, when I started really writing my own music, it was a great release for me. It was a good way for me to deal with my anxiety and some of my feelings and things like that. And I've just noticed that music does that for a lot of people, unless whether they're singing it, whether they're listening to it, whether they're writing it themselves. It just is a, what do they call it, a cathartic experience for people
Mm.
to have their feelings and their emotions and their experience recognized, you know.
I can imagine what your catalog looks like.
I got books and books of, of songs.
Just imagine.
Definitely.
At 10, I feel like it was younger than that.
Well, that 10 is about the time where I was really able to get around some other instruments. You know, my parents had us singing in church. You know, my family's not religious, but we did sing in churches and stuff like that when I was younger. And my dad is he's a songwriter who is one of the best songwriters I know. So, and my mom plays instruments and she's a great singer. So I definitely get it from them. But yeah, I probably did. I probably just forgot the song.
Because I could imagine when you were a little girl, you probably going around that just going around the house singing, and you probably just making up songs.
Listen, that's how I definitely was like that. I'm still like that to this day. And you know, another thing, since we were talking about keeping the whole mental health theme going, another thing music really helped me with it. I did at a certain point in my life have to deal with some self-harm issues as well. So music really helped me, you know, get to a better place with that, where that wasn't a issue for me anymore. Um, it's just amazing what music can do for people. They call it one of the universal languages because you can
Yeah.
understand it without, you know, having to speak or having to talk. You can listen to instruments and listen to the notes, and it can take you to another place. And I've always loved that about it.
Yes, most definitely.
Mhm.
So we talked about how you use music with in regards to mental health towards other people, but what are actually some of the steps you took to improve your mental health? I know you went to therapy, you recognize your triggers, but what are some like daily practices that you actually use?
Okay, so some of the daily practices that I use, and a lot of those I did get from working with the counselor I worked with most recently. She was more of a life plan counselor. So she did a lot of work with me, helping me identify my triggers and things like that. Um, one of the one of the best things I do that really, really helps, and it sounds so simple, but I make my bed every day. And it's just
Can you repeat that? You're frozen right now. Hello, Shana?
I can't see you. Can you see me?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
you can see me now?
Yes, we're good to go.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask the question again.
Okay.
We've discussed the steps you took to help improve your mental health, but what are some things that you do on a daily basis, or what are some rituals that you might use to help maintain a balance or be at homeostasis when it comes to your mental health?
Yes, yes. So this is a lot of these tips that I've picked up for myself, my personal practice in my life, I've gotten through working with other counselors, specifically the one I've worked with recently. She helps with, you know, helping you create your life plan and planning things out in your life the way that you would like them to be. So the first one I have to say, and it's super simple and it sounds like, you know, oh, that's just simple, but it really, really helps is that I make my bed every single day. I
Mm.
never used to make my bed at all. I'll be honest with you. But one day it just occurred to me. I was like, you know what? I'm waking up and my room is just out of order and it's setting up the rest of my day to be out of order. And there's something I can do about that. And so it just started that day that I was like, I'm going to make my bed. And I've noticed that since then, just a small thing of structure in the beginning of your day to really set up the rest of your day to go more smoothly. It's surprising. And it doesn't have to be, for anybody who's thinking about doing that, it doesn't have to necessarily be that, but just think about something that you can set in order that's going to set the rest of your day up for structure and order. And it's gonna organize your mind a little bit better. Um, Something else that I do is I try to meditate regularly.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely have a busy mind, and I have a very body that likes to do a lot of stuff. So to sit down and meditate, it does take a little bit of discipline for me. And I've tried different techniques, and that's something I would recommend for everybody is if you're going to try something like meditating or any other spiritual practice kind of more associated like that, go ahead and try some different techniques, because maybe the first one you try, like for me, might not be the one for you. I could not meditate that way. But I've tried a different technique since then, and I found something that really works pretty well for me for now. So those two are some great ones.
Nice. I have to agree with you when it comes to making your bed. That's something that I make sure that I do. And also with meditation, there's so many different types of meditation. Everyone thinks when they think of meditation, they think, oh, you have to sit and clear your mind, or you have to repeat Om, so many amount of times. But there's so many different ones. There's actually dancing meditation. You have music meditation. And you will naturally clear your mind when you are focused on whatever meditation that you do. So it doesn't have to be difficult.
It doesn't have to be difficult. The one thing I always like to tell people, whether you're talking about meditation, whether you're talking about finding a mental health professional to work with, whether you're talking about structuring your life, there is no one size fits all for this.
Mm-hmm.
They have to go through a little bit of trial and error until you find somebody, some structure, some process that works really well for you. And be open to the fact that it might work well for you right now, but you might have to change it later because something else might work better. You just have to keep an open and fluid mind about this kind of stuff and be ready to accept what does work for you and use that to your best advantage.
Yes, definitely. No, one shoe does not fit all. So something doesn't work, you try something else. Even when it comes to getting a therapist, if you don't resonate with that therapist that you are seeing, then go and find someone else until you find someone that resonates with you. It's like a marriage.
Yes.
So it's like
you're asking somebody to help you sort out what's going on inside your head, basically, or inside your being. And that is a very personal thing. So you're not stuck to one person. If that's not the person that's meant to, that works well with you, please don't feel bad about that. If you ever thought about feeling bad about it, please don't do that. It doesn't mean anything personal about you or them. It just means that you all are not suited to work together and that there's somebody that you would work with better. And you owe it to yourself to go on and find somebody else who can help you deal with your specific things that you're working on at that time. And there's just nothing wrong with that at all.
Yes. And me personally, I'm going to, give some information about myself. I've actually gone through about 6 or 7 therapists, because I'll stay with them for a little while, and if I see I'm not getting the results I want, to me it's like dating until I meet the one where
that's right for you. Well, just personally, I'll share a little bit of my experience. The first therapist that I tried was recommended to me by a friend, and I went to her, and the reason that she was the first but not the last therapist I went to is because her structure was a little bit more tough love style. And that just didn't work for me because I grew up in the inner city. I grew up so that the tough love thing, I didn't need that because I could take personal responsibility. So I didn't need anybody to help me take personal responsibility. I needed somebody to help me understand why I was doing some of the things I was doing and how I could work on making that better. So her structure would be good for somebody who did need to take a little bit more look at their discipline and their personal responsibility. But for me, that's not what I needed. So I went to a different mental health professional who had a different way of structuring her sessions and everything, and that worked better for me.
Yes, definitely. So when seeking therapy, definitely don't, as Shana is saying, don't feel bad if the therapist isn't working for you, thinking you have to stay there and you're gonna make
Mhm.
them feel bad. No, go find someone else. Please,
No, please do.
please
As
find someone else.
as I was telling one of my friends, I was like, look, they don't have a chat book where they all say this is they went to me and then they went to that. No, the therapists work with their clients as they need to, and they don't see anything wrong with it because there's not anything wrong with it. So you do what you need for you, because if you're taking that step to go and get some help for your whatever you're dealing with mentally, you know, that's a first off, that's a very responsible and brave thing to do. You know, when you take care of yourself, you're taking care of you and everybody that you are around, you have contact with, and you take responsibility for. So that's something that you should feel good about doing. So you go ahead and do it the way that you need to. Very personal thing.
Yes, definitely. So I
Hmm.
want to know, what do you think most people overlook when it comes to their mental health? What's something you think they might overlook?
Something they might overlook. I would say that when it comes to mental health, something that most people overlook is exactly how much it affects the other parts of their life. I think
Mhm.
that in the Western world specifically, we have a habit of isolating things instead of seeing them as a system. But our body and our world and our entire consciousness work very much as a system. So what you might think is an isolated thing, you will start to see, the effects of it in areas where you wouldn't have thought it would come up. Your mental
Exactly.
health is connected to everything you do, and it's connected to how you see the world, which is a very important thing because that informs your decision. So I think that that's probably something that gets overlooked a whole bunch.
Yeah, definitely. Like your bank account.
Yeah. And
People, their spending habits, you might not connect it to. So we look at like your holistically, how you are living holistically, you know.
Mhm. Holistically, yes, that's the word. Holistically, and when it comes to, we're talking about therapists as far as mental health professionals, but if it comes to counseling for any subject, please do not feel like you can't go and get help for that. Me personally, I get financial coaching right now because growing up, finances was not something that was um, taught very well in my area or my household. Not that people didn't want to; they just didn't have the knowledge themselves.
Yeah, they
So,
don't have
you
tools.
know, yes, when it comes to any area of your life, there's people who are able to and would love to counsel you about how you can improve in those areas, and take advantage of that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Because there's so many different types of coaches out there. So besides a therapist, if you could get a coach to help you with an area in your life that you might need, like you with the finances, for example, definitely look at that because everything comes together holistically.
So together, and you have to, one of the best things I ever did for myself was to be willing to ask people for help. Uh, Depending on how you grew up, it might be very enticing to try to do every single thing yourself, but you'll find
Mhm.
if you're going it alone, however much you're carrying, it might slow you down if you just try to do it by yourself. So coaching, great alternative to trying to do it all on your own. Therapy, counseling, great alternatives to trying to do everything all on your own. Sometimes you just got to face the fact you don't have that kind of time, you know?
Mhm.
So, getting help, excellent alternative to doing it all on your own.
Definitely. And I know how I grew up. I actually grew up to be independent. And so that's something I had to learn as you're bringing up asking for help. That's something I had to learn as an adult to ask for help. But I was always the one like, oh, I could do it myself. I don't want to ask for help because I don't want anyone to think that I owe them something. So
Mhm. Yeah, no, nobody wants to feel that feeling right there. You're like, I don't want them coming back on me, and I feel like I owe people things, this, that, and the other thing. But you know what? That's when we start talking about, how your mental health affects you holistically, because that is a way of looking at the world, thinking that other people will only want to help you if they can get something from you.
mhm.
I think a lot of people, myself included, and I would say maybe you, would would find, if we think about it, that we're not motivated that way. And I do believe that you do attract people around you who are much like yourself, just through your
Yes.
behavior, nothing else. So, it would just follow. I go, if I'm not motivated to do things for people just to get something back, and I attract people around me who are like me, then the people around me will be happy to help me without waiting for something in return. It just goes to follow, you know. So
Hmm.
it's all about perspective sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. So when I learned it's all right to ask for help, and people are well, I guess the people I attract to me are so willing to help me to go to the next level without, I think what they're receiving is seeing me shine and me move to the next level and say,
Oh,
oh, I was a part of that. So, that's what I had to learn. They're willing. It doesn't matter. They don't want anything from me. So you have to look at it like that. If you have the right tribe around you, the right people around you, you don't have to worry about that. So that's something I had to learn later on in my life.
I understand. I totally agree with you right there. I think that usually what is in our way is ourselves. And
Yeah.
that's the truth. So what you're saying is so true. You'll find, if you really want to get something done, first off, if you're really putting the work in to get something done, people are motivated by that. They're inspired by that, and they want to see you win 9 times out of 10. So usually, if that's going to be the case, the only person stopping you from getting help is you, because you're not asking. You know, so you gotta, sometimes you just gotta get out of your own way. But that just comes with understanding yourself and perspective change. That's all.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So we're going to switch gears a little bit, and I want you to tell me about Life Loves Music. What exactly is that?
Okay, Life Loves Music is a nonprofit that I'm in the process of starting, where it's gonna focus on getting some of these practices that I already have, like the music relaxation and like my meaningful music session. It's gonna focus on getting those out there to people who need them, and at a lower cost or almost free value. So,
Mhm.
Life Love Music is just something that I'm founding right now. I'm in the process of doing it, but I'm very excited about it. And it's going to focus on helping people access music for the purpose of relaxation and help with their mental health. Mhm.
Oh, that's nice. I love that. And that's something you're going to be starting this year?
It's something I'm already working on this year. So,
Okay, nice, nice. I love that. Um, so we talked about all about music and mental health.
yeah.
So, I mean, can you like summarize that for the audience? How do you think that will help? Like, how do the two go together for you with music and mental health? And how would it help to improve someone's mental health?
Okay. There's actually a couple ways that I really love that music helps to improve people's mental health. And the first way has actually to do with you learning an instrument or learning to play music or analyze music. So most people know that music is one of those rare things that engages both sides of your brain at the same time, because it does take a lot of technical skill, but it does take a creative side of it, either to play it or to understand it. So for me personally, I did have a grandparent who, in their later years, developed dementia and Alzheimer's. The reason I bring that up is because when it comes to mental disorders, especially those that can come in when you get older in age, one of
Mhm.
the things that is known to slow down the development and the progression of those is music. People use that all the time to help people keep their brains active. And even when it comes to something less severe, such as we speak of when people retire, uh, because they're not doing something every day or they're not learning a new skill, their brain can atrophy in a significant way. So
Mm.
what they recommend is that they learn a new skill, and one of the most highly recommended skills is learning to play an instrument or learning to play some music, because
Ah,
of the way that it activates both sides of your brain. So when it comes to and it doesn't have to be an older person or a retired person, it can be a person of any age, but learning to play an instrument is going to engage your brain, it's going to exercise your brain, and it's going to activate both sides of your brain at the same time. So you're doing, half the work for twice the results, basically. And it will help your brain path, just go more smoothly. So I love that about how music can help your mental health. And then
oh, wow.
Yes,
That
as well.
explains. I actually have a music teacher that lives near me. Well, she teaches piano.
Uh-huh.
She's not too far away from me. She's a few houses down from me. And
Yeah.
I've actually seen older people because my godson was taking music lessons from her. Well, he was, prior to COVID. And I
Yeah.
used to see like older people there. She'd be giving piano lessons to older older people. And I'm like, oh wow, they're learning an instrument now at this age. So I understand. I can see that then.
I love it. It's actually one of my passions that I've been slowly getting more into, which is teaching adult learners. It's not that I don't like teaching children; they're great. Actually, kids are so much fun to teach. But it's something about helping an adult learner, do something that a lot of times they actually have wanted to do their entire life, but haven't had the time because they have responsibility. They had to watch people or they were responsible for other people, so they didn't have the time. And then after a certain amount of time, they just kind of convinced themselves they couldn't do it for one reason or the other. So I love helping an adult learner finally get to do that, which is a lot of times it's playing the piano or guitar. And it's not anything major. It's just being able to play their favorite songs for their friends or, being able to play that one song they always love, and it just means the world to them to be able to do that. I love that moment when it's just like I can finally play that Johnny Cash song that I always love. Yes, you can. You can do that. I think it's so important, especially because a lot of us as adults, we have jobs that are very repetitive. So while we do get to do something a lot of the times, it's not really anything new and it's not learning a new skill. So for those adults who do end up learning a new instrument, it's going to engage your brain and get you thinking again and get you in the habit of learning a new skill. So I love that about it.
Oh wow. Okay, that makes so much sense now. When I used to see, I was like, oh.
That seems different. Yeah, that's why it's such a great benefit for that. And the other thing that I love about how music can support your mental health is a little bit of what I was talking about earlier. It is a creative outlet for a lot of people, and it doesn't require you. Music is one of those things that does not require you to be on any type of professional level for you to get the benefit of participating in it. So whether we're talking about, you're just going to the piano and you're learning how to put a melody together and you're making a song that way, or you're doing something that involves lyrics, it's going to give you that outlet that you need sometimes when it comes to your mental health. Because, even with a therapist, sometimes it can be hard to express yourself. It could be hard to order your thoughts and really say what you mean to say. And using music, and sometimes if you're doing lyrics, then it's going to be music coupled with poetry, using those creative arts together. It just gives you another avenue to express yourself the way that you would like to. And it's very good and relaxing for your brain. So
Nice, nice. I like that. Using the left and right side of your brain. Well, even you don't even have to become older to do that. It's like if you make it a habit from now,
yeah,
definitely it'll help with your memory. And even they talk about in the music, I know this is a little off topic, but even having music in school, how it helps with children learning as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. When I used to work I was never a classroom teacher, but I was a paraprofessional.
Okay.
And when I used to work as a paraprofessional, I would sometimes help the students that way by just sending information that they needed to know to music. Actually, I've just done that pretty much at every job I've been at. I remember I worked at a grocery store once. I was a manager at a grocery store, and we all had to memorize the codes for the vegetables and all that stuff. So I wrote a song with all the codes and made it rhyme, and then gave it to everybody who had to work the cash registers, and it helped them remember the codes better. We really I'll put it this way, if you think about how many commercial jingles you know right now, you'll realize how easy it is for you to absorb information when it's set to music.
Wow. I would love you as a manager. They probably missed you.
We was singing up in there. I loved it. It was fun. Every job I go to, I've somehow managed to make it music related if I get the opportunity. So that's why I love that. And you don't have to be an older person to do that. As we know, we specifically do it for children for that reason because
Mhm.
they can memorize tones and stuff easier than words at the beginning, and it sticks. it sticks for a long time. If you still know the ABC song, then you know it sticks.
Yeah, it sure does. And it helps to also to connect with pleasant memories of childhood too. Because when I do sing certain songs, or it does bring up memories. So that is something really good for your mental health as well, bringing you in a happy space. Like I remember walking to the bus stop in the morning as a child, and my mom, she would sing the days of the week to me, but like I remember spelling them. So what she would do is make up songs spelling the days of the week. So I would get 100 on my spelling test. So when she would walk me to the bus stop, that's what she'd be singing the days. Well, she wouldn't sing the days of the week. She would sing the words.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's smart.
I remember them.
That is so smart. I mean, that sounds like my dad. He like I said, he's a songwriter too, and he made a song for each and every one of us. I have 4 sisters and 1 brother, and he still remembers the songs that he made for us. And honestly, I don't consciously remember it, but every once in a while he'll sing it, and I'll be like, "Yeah, I remember liking this song. What song is that again?" He'll be like, "That's my song that I made for you." I'm like, "Dang, I feel like really comfortable and calm right now." Because even when we're babies, the songs that people sing for us, we never really forget. Your body memorizes things on a cellular level, and that includes music, and that includes memory. So those good music and memories associations that you have, that can relax your entire body.
Yes, definitely, definitely. So, Shana, can you tell us where can we find your music, and where can we actually follow you? Definitely want to. Her music is awesome. You want high vibrational music? I'm telling you, I listen to your music in the background while I'm doing something, sing along to it. I love it.
I'm so happy to hear that. Yes, I can tell you where you guys can find me. The easiest place to find me and anything else I do right now until I get my website up is on Instagram. So you can go to Instagram.com, and my at is I am Indigo Music. That's my handle. So I am Indigo Music on Instagram. You can go to my bio and go to my link tree. There you will be able to find my music. You will be able to find me where you can book me for a session, like the meaningful music session that I was just telling you guys about a bit earlier. And feel free to stop by on Sunday at 12 Central to check that out and see if you would like to book me for a session like that later on. And you can find any of the other things that I have going on at this time. So that's the best place to find me.
Nice, nice. And I want to know, can you bless us with one of your songs, please?
Absolutely, I can. So I got my guitar right here, Stella. And I'm just going to play you guys a short song. This song is called Things Are Gonna Get Better, which is ironically a song I sing to myself a lot when I wait for things to get better.
Yes, definitely.
There was a time when answers came just as easily as they go. I tried to catch them like bullets and found that answers float and that I don't. But even in the darkness, so I won't pretend that it's all that I won't. Not even in the darkness, so not even in the deepest, the darkest hole. I know that things are gonna get better. Things are gonna get better. Things are gonna get better. I know. I used to focus on only one thing and only look just one way. But there is beauty all around you, even when you're drenched in rain. So don't go to bed disappointed. Find something to smile about. Don't go home so hopeless. There is goodness to be found. You just gotta seek it out, and you'll know things are gonna get better. Things are gonna get better. Things are gonna get better. Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Shana. Thank you.
Thank you.
Definitely check out Shana, aka Indigo, on her site. All her information will be in the description box below. And I thank you so much, Shana, for coming on the show today and blessing us with your amazing talent. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I love being here, and thank you very, very much.
Yes. And thank you for watching Dropping Gems After Show. Peace, blessings, and holistic health to you.
I would like to thank Indigo for coming on the show today and blessing us with one of her musical selections. And a special thank you to you, my subscribers. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, click the like button, share, and leave a comment down below, letting me know how you enjoyed today's episode. Holistic health and much abundance to you. See you next week. Thank you.